Hello. I'm going to show you today how you can save your vector store for future use. So this data I'm working in right now, it's listings data. It has a lot of information about the listing. So things like the description, number of bedrooms, school district, HOA, a lot of stuff. This is 6.7 million tokens and is about 15,000 rows. So considering the size of this data, you definitely do want to save your vector store because if your node resets, you don't want to lose all that data, right? So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I'm going to be working with 100 rows to make this faster. So we're going to search for the vector store creator node. Vector store, we can use the Chroma one. And I'm also going to grab the retriever because we're going to use that in a second. So I'm going to put my data here and I'm going to be using OpenAI embeddings small model. So I'm going to just load that first. And I'm going to connect that here. Now I'm going to run the embeddings for the vector store and create the vector store. So what you need to do next is you need to search for the model creator node, model writer node, sorry. And we're also going to use the model reader node to read that in. So I'm going to grab that as well. Going to connect this here. And here you can specify where you want to save your vector store using the model writer node. So I'm going to save it in the current workflow data area. I'm going to call it listings test. Okay, and click on OK. You can give it an extension. You don't have to. So an extension I gave, just looking at the extension that was being used for the KNIME vector store node itself. The extension they use is Parquet, but I tried it without an extension and it does work. So I'm just not going to give it an extension. Going to click on OK and write that. Now, you've stored your vector store, but you want to use it. So you need to go and read your vector store. Very, very important for you to be able to see it. You need to select all files and then you can see the vector store you just made. Click on OK and click on Run. Now to use the vector store retriever, you just connect your model reader to that and you connect your query to the vector store retriever. Now, this is what threw me off when I tried to use this before because there was an error, but it's basically looking for an API key because you used the OpenAI model to embed and create a vector store. So it needs that information to actually retrieve. Now, what you do here, if you are using this node with the standard OpenAI nodes, the credentials, it does pass automatically, but in this case, it doesn't. So all you have to do is just drag this and connect it here, and it gets that. Make sure that you have the query column selected, set your number of results, and click on OK, and run that. Okay, I'm just going to ungroup so I can see the results separately because it does return a list for me. And here are your results. You can also use this with the vector store too. So the vector store, you need to connect it to the chat model connector. And then you need to connect the vector store, I believe. Okay. So that works as a tool now. Then you can feed this tool into your LLM agent to use it for your specific use case. One note, if you're using GPT-4All, for instance, which does not need an API key because that's installed on your machine, you don't need to pass the credentials. So you're not going to get that error which we got with the OpenAI. So the model reader, it does recognize what was used to make the vector store. And if the API key is not relevant, it's not going to ask you for that in this node. So yeah, this is how you save and read in your vector store, which is very important because you don't want to embed and recreate the vector store every time because that's going to waste time and it's going to waste money. So here's how you do that. Thank you for watching and goodbye.